Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Author MD New, and I'm here to talk to you today about more writing tips and tricks. Today I wanted to chat a little bit about book contests. We all love to get those notices that, hey, our book has won this award or that award or whatnot. And having your book win an award really helps with your marketing and your PR. It gives you something to brag about. A lot of times you can get stickers for your books and put them on them. It's just a great additional avenue to market your books and yourself because you can say, hey, I'm an award winning author. And it doesn't matter what the award is, but if you won it and it's one of your books, then you are officially an award winning author. Now, for me, I have actually spent a lot of time judging books. It's part of what I do, so I am a part of a couple of different groups where I am on a panel of judges and we evaluate books for uh, awards. And I don't evaluate my own books, so I have to recuse myself from that. But today I wanted to share with you all the things that I look for when I'm judging books for a book contest. And as always, I will share the link below to the article that this is based on, so you can read it a little bit more in depth. So, to start, each book competition will have their own criteria for judging book entries. So, I can't emphasize this enough. Please pay attention to the rules and the guidelines. There is nothing that will get your book disqualified faster than you didn't pay attention to the rules and the qualifications and the guidelines. Each contest is going to be different. So read it again, have a friend read it, have a wife, a husband, your partner, whatever, read it. That way you can fully understand that, yes, I am entering this competition and I understand all the rules and everything like that because there are many of them and there's nothing worse than having to disqualify somebody because clearly they didn't read the rules or didn't understand the rules. So please save yourself some heartache and an entrance fee if the contest you're entering has an entrance fee and read the rules because they will not refund your entrance fee in most cases. Next up, all book competitions have categories. So if you write sci-fi, make sure you enter your book in sci-fi. If you write horror, make sure you enter your book in horror. Do not enter a horror novel in sci-fi. In reverse, do not enter a sci-fi novel in horror. If you are unclear about a category, ask the competition. For example, in my novel Valaria, it is a mashup of sci-fi and urban fantasy. Well, dark urban fantasy. So if I were to enter this book in a competition, I would want to make sure that I've talked to the people who are running the contest and say, this is the book, which category should I enter it in? They will often tell you, oh, it should go in this, or you can enter it in both. And then that way they know, because then I'm not being disqualified for not paying attention. So really know your categories, and if you have questions, ask. If your book doesn't fit a category, contact the competition and ask them if there's an additional category that you can enter it. This will save you heartache and hurt feelings. Next up, editing. And I cannot emphasize this enough. I am by no means the world's greatest editor. In fact, if you read any of my blogs or if you read probably the description below this video, you will see mistakes, typos, grammar, whatever. You're going to see them, they're going to be there. So make, make sure your book is edited. If you are a self-published author, ensure that you have the book edited to not only the best of your abilities, but to others. Have other people read your work and help you find all the little things that you've missed, because I can guarantee you, you will miss them. As a judge, if I find editing mistakes, spelling, grammar, punctuation, you instantly lose points. Doesn't matter how good your book is, no matter how strong your plot is, no matter how great your characters are, I won't. For me, you've already gone from 100% to 90% to maybe even 80%, depending on how bad the mistakes are that I find. And in most cases, that won't win you an award. So really pay attention to your editing. I cannot emphasize this enough. And at some future time, I'll be talking about editing in one of these writing tips as well. Next up, know the difference between a novel, a novella, and a short story. A novel is anything that has 50,000 words to about 100,000 words plus, which is anywhere between 200 and 400 pages. Novellas are about 17,000 words to about 40,000 words, or 100 to 200 pages. And a short story is anything starting at about 1,000 words going up to about 10,000 words, or 3 to 30 pages. Why this is important is, as a judge, if you are submitting a short story to something that I am expecting and comparing to novels or, novellas, you're not going to stand a chance. And that's terrible to say. But if I'm going in expecting to judge 5 books that are all novels for science fiction, let's just say, and you come in with a short story that's only 1,000 words, how am I to judge you compared to the others that have written these longer works? I can't. So typically, that's going to go away. All competitions will have a short story category or a novella category, and if they don't, again, ask the competition people who are running the competition, because they'll tell you. It's really important to pay attention to those things, because you don't want to have your book compared to something that is either longer or shorter than your story. You want to be like for like. So if you're selling apples, you want your apples compared to everybody else's apples. You don't want your apples compared to somebody's strawberries or your apples compared to somebody's grapes. See what I'm saying? So it's really important to know the length of your stories and know the different types of lengths where your stories will fit in. Next up, this is going to be a tough one, and a lot of people are going to hem and haw, I'm sure. Write your story. Don't write for market and expect to win. If you're entering a competition with something that you specifically wrote for romance, let's just say, you wrote a romance novel for Harlequin, and it's very formulaic. It's very much what one would expect from a romance novel. And you're expecting this to win as a fantasy story or as a um, or as a sci-fi story or whatever. You're not gonna, because you wrote to market. Now, there are competitions out there for books that are written for market. And there's nothing wrong with writing to market. That's how people make money. Romance writers rake in the cash like nobody's business. So if that's what you want to do it. Just when you're deciding to enter that book, that romance novel, into a competition, make sure you're entering it in a competition for romance novels, because then nobody's going to ding you and you're not going to get blasted. So that's something else to keep in mind. If you want to write for market and you love writing for market, go for it. I'm not telling you not to. Please do. Now, people eat this stuff up. But when it comes for competition, book contests, make sure you're, again, entering it in the right competition, because you're probably going to get dinged and wonder what happened. And what happened is you entered your book in the wrong type of competition. Next up, and this ties into exactly what we were just talking about with the writing your own story, know your audience. Pay attention to what contests you enter and don't set yourself up to fail. If you are writing, for me, I write LGBTQ books. I am not going to enter any of my books in, let's say, a Christian book competition. Chances are my books would not do so well in that type of competition. So know the audience that you're submitting the books to. If you're writing, romance, and I don't mean to pick on romance. In fact, let's not say romance anymore. Let's jump over to erotica. If you're writing something that is erotica and you're entering it in a romance, that may not be the right category. Even if, let's say, it's an erotic story told on a space station in deep space, and you think this is a great sci-fi story, it might be, and you might have written one in a million. But if it's an erotica-based story, entering it in a sci-fi competition may not be the best option. Same with horror. Like if you write something, a graphic horror novel that just is brutal and wonderful, and you love it. It's everything that you want it to be, and you may not want to enter it as a into a paranormal contest. Not the same thing. Totally different audience. And there's nothing worse than lambasting a judge with something that they're not prepared to read. I've had that happen to me as a judge. I know other judges who it's happened to where they've read something and it's just like so out there that they're just like, oh no, no, they didn't even finish it. They submitted it back and said, yeah, no, I'm done. Lastly, and this is the bonus fact or bonus tip, there are hundreds of book competitions out there. Find the right one for your books. Don't enter books that just don't belong in a competition. There are hundreds of them. You can search Google all day long and find all these book competitions. There is going to be a right competition for you to enter your book in. Okay, well, I hope that helps you guys when you're thinking about entering your books in a competition. Like I said, I'll be linking the article that this was based on below. And please, as always, if you have questions, need more advice, or want to say hey, send me a message. I'm on social media. Find me there. And thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll be back with more tips and tricks on another day. Take care. Bye.